All right, we are taking live public comments throughout the meeting, so please raise your hand in Zoom or call now if you have comments on the following: the director's report, packaging, textile, and paint producer responsibility updates, grants, and loans. Now let's take a look at some of CalRecycle's engagement highlights over the past month.
We anticipate we'll be seeing a lot more reusable food serviceware for dine-in, reusable cups for cafes, and those sorts of things.
Zoe Heller is the director of CalRecycle, and she says when it comes to reducing plastic in food service, the goal is about progress, not perfection.
And then for the packaging that's still being used, making sure that packaging is what's needed and then that it's recyclable or compostable so that we won't have the impact of the amount of food serviceware that's out there now. Instead, what's manageable, what makes sense.
Let's play a quick guessing game.
Okay.
We have here 4 containers, and out of these 4, only 3 are eligible, and we have a new addition. Would you like to take a guess?
I would say 3 are eligible, 1 is not?
1 is not eligible.
1 is not. Okay, eligible?
Yes.
I'm going to go with eligible.
Uh-huh.
And eligible.
Correct.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Oh, beginner's luck.
I know my garbage, girl.
You know your garbage.
Yeah.
You're recycling.
All right, our first agenda item is the director's report from CalRecycle Director Zoe Heller. Good morning, Zoe.
Good morning, Michael, and good morning, everyone. Nice to see a full room again. I like it when we have the meeting in here. It seems to invite more participants. Maybe you all like this room better. Maybe it's just smaller, hard to say. Anyways, we've got a lot of important updates today, including a new upgrade on our grant program web pages. We've heard a lot that it would be helpful if we got more word out about the success of our grantees and how they've used state funds to invest in various projects in their communities. So now we have grantee spotlights to show potential applicants what's possible and to highlight positive impacts on communities. So let us know if you like it, and we'll keep that going. Also, it's back to school time, and for me with a 7-year-old, I think a lot about consumption around back to school time and all the supplies that we have to buy and getting new clothes. And it's a good opportunity to look for ways to reduce waste, buy secondhand, and those sorts of things. So we're highlighting that quite a bit on our social media this month. Just a reminder that back to school doesn't need to mean that we're back to maybe consumption patterns that aren't needed and those sorts of things. So excited for that too. We're also excited to launch CalEPA's new Youth Advisory Council, which creates opportunities for younger Californians to help shape the policies here in California. So I'm going to turn it over to Deputy Director Katrina Lenny-Koenig to give a more in-depth update on the council.
Yeah, and I just have the pleasure to announce that the application period for CalEPA's new Environmental Youth Advisory Council is now open. We encourage Californians and California tribal members between the ages of 14 and 20 to apply. They can apply online through September 21st. There's also a virtual informational session scheduled on August 27th from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. You can find both the application and information session forms on CalEPA's website. Let's turn to Division of Circular Economy Deputy Director Michelle Martin for the next agenda items.
Thanks, Katrina. Good morning, everybody. The 60-day public comment period for Circular Action Alliance CAA Draft Pro Plan closed on August 14th. The Pro Plan is due to CalRecycle no later than October 13th. For more information on the plan, you can visit CAA's webpage or reach out to CAA directly. The Packaging Producer Responsibility Advisory Board is not meeting in September. The next scheduled meeting is October 16th in the Sierra Hearing Room. And for more information, please visit the Advisory Board webpage. Next to the paint stewardship update, CalRecycle held an informal public rulemaking workshop on August 4th to solicit feedback on updates to the draft regulatory language to implement the statutory addition of aerosol coating products, non-industrial coatings, and coating-related products into the Paint Product Recovery Program. CalRecycle is accepting public comments on the proposed regulatory text through the end of today, August 18th. For more information, it's posted in the public notice linked in today's agenda. Moving on to the CalRecycle held a textile stewardship informal regulatory concepts workshop on August 13th. to present proposed regulatory language and concepts described in the Responsible Textile Recovery Act. CalRecycle is accepting comments regarding the concepts presented at the workshop through August 27th. We are also holding another textile workshop on September 29th to discuss other regulatory concepts. You can join us at the CalEPA headquarters building on Zoom or check out the live stream. More information is linked in today's agenda, and you can sign up to receive email updates. And now Branch Chief Lauren Barba joins us with grant program announcements.
How about now? No? Kind of? The button screen. How about now? Yeah? Good enough? Okay. We are excited to share new updates to CalRecycle's grant program web pages, including videos showcasing grant-funded projects across California. Let's watch one video from an edible food recovery grant recipient, Madison Materials, a permitted facility that supports nearly 30 Orange County school districts by recovering surplus food that would otherwise go to waste and redirecting it to communities in need.
From schools to consumers, saving society one meal at a time. At school districts in Orange County, lunchtime isn't just about feeding students. It's about fighting hunger and protecting our planet. Through a dedicated edible food recovery program, schools are turning potential waste into a powerful resource. It starts with California SB 1383, a law requiring schools to recover the maximum amount of surplus food. Instead of going to a landfill, high-quality, unused meals are carefully collected by our partners at Madison Materials. Once picked up, Madison Materials delivers this fresh food directly to charities, such as South County Outreach, which is identified by Abound Food Care through their charitable feeding network, where all food is safely handled and ready for those who need it the most. As an example, in the fall semester of 2025, the Edible Food Recovery Program at one school district was able to divert over 6,000 pounds of edible prepared food from the trash, keeping over 3 tons of organic waste out of the Orange County landfills. Mike Leorakis of Abound Food Care emphasized the importance of continuing the work started through past edible food recovery agreements and grants within the state and Orange County.
I think we should be asking ourselves, what are the lessons learned in this pilot? Anytime we have a program, we want to look at it and evaluate it, both the strengths, weaknesses, and what did we learn? The one thing we did learn from this is that you have to have the right size vehicle. Again, refrigerated vans are the optimum type of vehicle to recover perishable food. The other thing that we learned from this is that prepared perishable food is the most difficult food to pick up. It's also the one that has that's hardest to get to consumer. So this model and this effort, this pilot, has been able to, again, mitigate food safety concerns, but also get product to consumer. So it's a win-win.
From schools to the tables of local families, these partnerships bridge the gap between surplus and scarcity. Madison Materials and Abound Food Care are working together to nourish our community, one recovered meal at a time. This message is made possible by a grant from the CalRecycle Department of Resources Recycling and Recovery. CalRecycle, food donors fight hunger and combat climate change.
This sample project reflects the kind of meaningful on-the-ground results our grantees are achieving, reducing waste, supporting local partners, and strengthening California communities. Next, we're announcing $1.5 million for 18 local government waste tire cleanup grantees. One of the grants is partially funded. These grants are used to pay for the cleanup of illegally dumped waste tires along public right-of-ways and on private property. There are $14 million available for the Increased Recycling of Empty Glass Beverage Containers grant program. The goal of the program is to increase glass beverage container recycling in the state. The funding supports regional pilot programs that collect, consolidate, and transport empty glass beverage containers to glass processors from restaurants and on-sale retail license establishments. Eligible applicants include certified recycling centers, certified collection drop-off programs, as well as certified community service programs. Grants range from $250,000 to $4 million. All projects must include collection from 5 or more restaurants and on-sale retail license establishments throughout one or more cities or counties in the state. All applicants must match any grant amount receiving in an equal or greater value of that grant amount. And then the application period is set to open September 2026 with an October 2026 deadline. And then quick reminder, applications for the Tire Incentive Program are due tomorrow. For more grant program deadlines and resources, visit our funding webpage on CalRecycle's webpage. And back to you, Michael.
Thanks, Lauren. All right, now to public comments. Do we have any public comments in the room, either on Zoom or on the phone? Oh, we have one in the room. Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Mike Robeson. I have a quick question on the SB 54 update. Well, 2 questions actually. First, the public comments were due to CAA on Friday. Does CAA make those public comments public? Is there a reason why? Is it not allowed? I mean, can they be public?
We can't require that, but I would suggest reaching out to them directly.
Okay, thanks. Then the second question is, on the update, I'm aware there's a couple lawsuits on SB 54 implementation, and I'm just curious if there's no comment on that in the update, and is there a timeline for when the litigation is going to be settled? Would it be settled before, January 1st, or would it be resolved, or what's the status of all that?
Yeah, we can't really comment on litigation that's happening, but everything is in process right now.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Any other public comments in the room? How about on Zoom or on the phone?
We have one comment on Zoom.
Thank you.
The Zoom caller can go ahead and unmute.
Good morning. My name is CJ Nord. I'm the founder of Supply Chains for Good. I have a brief comment to deliver. Thank you for your patience. California has a material, urban wood waste, that is increasingly expensive to dispose of. Manufacturers are leaving the state because of high electricity costs, and there's an urgent need for new domestic energy feedstocks. A profit-driven supply chain for urban wood waste solves all of those problems. Currently, for our urban wood waste, particularly manufactured wood containing glues, laminates, and finishes, there isn't enough recycling demand, and there never will be without biomass. Advanced biomass technology can create demand by converting urban wood waste into electricity, biochar, and renewable fuels. And those high-value commodities make the return on investment period short enough to justify multi-million-dollar equipment purchases. We know this profit-driven circularity model works because steel proved it. Steel mills create demand for scrap, giving it value. Robust trade drives that circular supply chain upstream and creates jobs all along the way. And that system has been working for 176 years. Wood products manufacturers can do the same thing for urban wood waste that steel mills do for scrap steel. One mid-size cabinet manufacturer can eliminate more than 700 outbound waste loads a year by processing its waste on site, saving thousands of gallons of diesel. Today, with diesel supplies so severely constrained, why are we using scarce diesel to haul an energy feedstock to the landfills? I'm not asking California to lower its environmental standards. If the system meets California's environmental standards, let it operate, let it compete for funding, and give manufacturers a reasonable permitting pathway. Urban wood waste is already here. We're paying to throw it away. By creating a market for it, we can turn a rising disposal cost into affordable energy and valuable products while strengthening California's manufacturing sector, protecting jobs, and building family prosperity. The goal is a profitable, trade-driven circular supply chain that can stand on its own 2 feet like steel does. And that's what a circular economy should do. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you for your comments.
Okay. Any other comments on Zoom or on the phone? Thank you. All right, looking ahead, please raise your hand in Zoom or call in now if you have comments on the following: beverage container recycling program update, product stewardship, covered battery embedded products, SB 1215 update, reusable and refillable propane cylinders act, SB 1280 update, 2025 California waste tire market report, or facility permits and waivers. Beverage container recycling program deputy director Amy Cameron is here with a quick update.
Hello, good morning. CalRecycle staff have published the latest certification, registration, and enforcement reports for the 2026 calendar year second quarter. They're available on CalRecycle's website and sign up online to receive email updates. Branch Chief Karen Kafetz is next with product stewardship updates.
Good morning, everybody. Just a few updates today. I'm going to start off by talking about California's carpet stewardship program. CalRecycle received Carpet America Recovery Efforts Revised Differential Assessments Plan Amendment on July 17th, following CalRecycle's disapproval of CARE's previous submittal. CalRecycle accepted public comments on this item through August 3rd and is currently reviewing the plan amendment to determine if CARE has demonstrated compliance with the statutory, regulatory, and plan requirements. Action is needed by September 15th, and the director's determination will be presented at a future monthly public meeting. You can find the plan amendment in the public notice linked in today's agenda. Moving to our mattress stewardship program. On July 31st, CalRecycle determined that MRC's 2025 annual report is incomplete. MRC must revise and resubmit its 2025 annual report within 60 days of the determination date. If CalRecycle determines that MRC's resubmitted annual report is complete, then CalRecycle will have 90 days from the date of receipt to review the annual report for compliance with statutory, regulatory, and plan requirements. Once again, you can find more information on this in the public notice linked in today's agenda. For our paint stewardship program, CalRecycle received Paint Care's plan amendment on July 1st, which proposes to increase the assessment added to paint sold. CalRecycle accepted public comments on this item through July 17th and is currently reviewing the plan amendment to determine whether Paint Care has demonstrated compliance with statutory and regulatory requirements. Action is needed by October 29th, and the director's determination will be presented at a future public meeting. You can find more information in the public notice linked on today's agenda. One last update from me pertaining to our dealer cooperative stewardship program administered by Circular CRV. On August 3rd, CalRecycle notified Circular CRV Association that its quarterly report for the second quarter of 2026 was incomplete. Circular CRV Association submitted a revised report that included the missing information on August 4th. You can find more information in the public notice linked in today's agenda. And now I'm going to hand things off to Deputy Director Kevin Campbell.
Good morning. Thank you very much. I'm filling in for Kara Morgan this morning. She had a few items on the docket. The Electronic Waste Recycling Act created a funding mechanism to provide free and convenient recycling opportunities for certain discarded video displays devices. In 2022, SB 1215 amended the Act to add covered embedded products to California's Covered Electronic Waste Recovery Program. The program is funded through a covered electronic waste recycling fee assessed on consumers at the time of purchase. CalRecycle is required to establish the covered battery embedded waste recycling fee on or before October 1st of each year. To assess the fee structure, staff work with Budget Office to analyze volume trends, estimate possible payment obligations, sales trends, revenue potential, operational costs, and available fund balance. Since CalRecycle can adjust this fee structure annually, this provides significant flexibility in fulfilling statutory obligations and ensuring program solvency. Staff have recommended maintaining the fee structure at 1.5% of the retail sales price, while lowering the maximum fee cap from $15 to $1. This adjustment reflects updated market data and the need to better align fee collections with projected program costs. If approved, the rulemaking package will be sent to the Office of Administrative Law in September with an effective date of January 1st, 2027. Interested parties may comment on the rulemaking package when the emergency regulations are filed with OAL. On to the next point. CalRecycle will be holding a reusable and refillable propane cylinders act workshop on September 3rd, 2026. The workshop will provide an overview of the draft propane cylinder market, an infrastructure analysis report, and education and outreach materials. More information is in the link in today's agenda. Sign up, and you can also sign up to receive email updates. There's also a 2025 California Waste Tire Market Report Overview Workshop scheduled for September 23rd, 2026. CalRecycle staff will present 2025 tire market trends, and interested parties will have an opportunity to provide insights on market trends prior to the finalization of the report in December of 2026. The workshop will be hybrid, both in person and online. And for more information on this workshop can be found in the public notice links in today's agenda. And now we will go on to Waste Permitting Compliance and Mitigation Deputy Director Mark DeBee.
All right, I'll be covering for Mark real quick here. So let's watch a quick solid waste permits and waivers program explainer, followed by updates from Program Manager Robert Carlson.
To keep Californians healthy and protect our land, food, water, and air, CalRecycle and local enforcement agencies work together. Local enforcement agencies get community input, process permit applications, conduct inspections, and make sure solid waste facilities follow the law. CalRecycle verifies that permits for solid waste facilities, including landfills and compost sites, comply with state standards and inspections. Agreeing with the LEA that a permit is ready to be issued is known as concurring. Additionally, CalRecycle reviews approved emergency waivers and can modify, limit, or end them. Emergency waivers temporarily modify solid waste facility permits for up to 120 days and may be extended, providing relief for facility operators during disasters, and they're approved by local enforcement agencies. For waste tire facilities, CalRecycle issues and enforces waste tire facility permits to make sure tires are stored and processed safely. Scan this QR code or visit CalRecycle's website for more detailed information.
Morning. I have a few updates for permits. Starting with new solid waste facility permits, we have the Tehachapi Recycling and Transfer Station in Tehachapi, California. This is a transfer processing facility with a proposed maximum tonnage of 300 tons per day and a proposed operating area of 22.86 acres. Action is needed by the department by July 28th, 2026. Next, we have two revised solid waste facility permits. First is for Recology Yuba Sutter Integrated Waste Recovery Facility in Marysville, California. This is an expansion of the permitted facility boundary from 7.1 to 42 acres and the inclusion of an existing stormwater collection tanks to the permitted facility boundary. Action is needed by the department by September 5th, 2026. The next is the City of Newport Beach Transfer Station in Newport Beach, California. This is to increase the permitted area for the transfer station from 1.0 to 1.5 acres and action is needed by September 22nd, 2026. Next, we have a continuing facility emergency waiver. This is for El Sobrante landfill in Corona, California. This is an emergency waiver of permitted maximum tonnage and permitted traffic volume. This will be in place until September 30th, 2026, and due to the Palos warehouse fire. And that's all of my updates.
Okay, now to public comments. Do we have any public comments in the room?
Good morning, Nick Lapis with California Against Waste. I want to comment on the e-waste fee reduction. I gotta say, it's a little hard to track that program since all the fee adjustments are done through emergency regulations. The opportunity for input becomes very, very narrow. There haven't been a lot of public meetings to discuss why you're adjusting the fees one way or another. And it's not that we have a problem with going down to $1, but I think when you're going down to $1, that's actually a symptom of a broader problem, which is not enough money is going out the door to recyclers, right? And in talking to recyclers, they're saying that they can't make the economics work for recycling, especially small devices. So the fact that we don't need as much money because not as much is going out the door is a bigger problem than what the actual fee level is. So I guess maybe just your feedback on that, but also just a request for more public process in that program. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Really appreciate your comments on that. And we are kind of operating quickly, as you mentioned, due to the authority for emergency regulations. A lot of information took a while to come into us for us to understand when the payments were going out to collectors and recyclers, since they didn't start submitting to us until April. And then we had a small window to adjust as it relates to that. And you described it perfectly. What we noticed was there weren't a lot of payment claims coming in. And the team that Alan's leading has done quite a bit of outreach to recyclers to figure out what's going on. And it's exactly what you said. The structure of the payments are not high enough right now for them to submit claims for what they're collecting. We want to right size that. Right now, we're limited in our authority by statute, where we can't make that adjustment within the current statutory framework until August of 28. Is that right? So we're stuck in a bit of a conundrum right now. But what we wanted to make sure that we're doing is being, responsible stewards of public funds and not collecting too much money. The value of having a fee that we can adjust is to be able to right size it. We would like to get more money out the door. We're committed as soon as we can make those changes to the payment rates to adjust them appropriately and hear you on the request for more public engagement. We'd like to do that in two different ways. One is hold just more engagement in general on the program, make sure we're being transparent about why we're making these changes and when we're making these changes. But also, I think you and others have talked about the need for an increase in education and outreach specific to this program too. So more to come. We appreciate the ongoing feedback. Alan's team is open to more discussion because we really do want to get this right. We understand the importance. I was able to tour Sierra Recycling last week and see some of these issues firsthand, and the team went out a few weeks back too. So hear you, committed to getting this right when we can. Unfortunately, we're kind of bound by our statutory responsibility right now. So we'll get more information out.
I mean, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. I'll just flag that, if this had been made slightly more public rather than just in response to a question, that would also be relevant to the legislature in terms of maybe changing those deadlines of the August 28. I know there was some talk about doing an urgency bill to create tiered payments for the e-waste program. All of this is just kind of relevant, and I think the more transparency, the better.
Yeah, appreciate that feedback. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments in the room? All right, seeing none. Any on Zoom or on the phone? All right, seeing none. So with that, we will go ahead and close out the public meeting, and this will be available via recording in English and Spanish to our YouTube channel in the next few days. And thank you, and we'll see you next month.